Okay, hello, Jeffrey. So it's my pleasure to be here with you today. Thanks a lot, first of all, for your time on this interview, and congratulations to be selected for to be a potential PMO Global Award. So you and your team, I really believe that did a great job, and it was really outstanding because when I watched the video, I have seen the evolution at this part of your PMO and how your company and your organization was passing from PM low culture or medium culture to and project management oriented culture. So please let us know something about you, who you are, and what is your experience in project management.
Thank you, Alfonso. Thank you for having me here. We're very excited to be here and very honored to represent both Banco Ficohsa and our country as well, Honduras. First, I would like to thank the PMO Global Alliance for this whole experience and for the opportunity to tell our PMO story. So that's very exciting for us. What can I tell you about myself? I'm actually I'm an engineer. I have a computer science background and a master's degree in business administration. And I currently lead the PMO. I have been leading the PMO for the last 6 years in Banco Ficohsa out of 17 years that I have. I've been in Banco Ficohsa. And yeah, what I can tell you about my project management experience as well is that it has a very interesting story. I had an experience of participating in one of the most important projects in the bank's history, which was the core banking system migration, and that was a very tough project, very complex project. It lasted 5 years, so you can imagine the burnout and the stress that this caused to the organization. So this was a turning point for me, and that's when I decided to train myself in project management professionally, in order to never have to relive an experience like that again. So after that, I was handed over the PMO, and here we are now.
Well, wonderful. I think it is was also my particular experience to live project management in my mind and in my body, right? Because I think it's just there are a lot of emotional things in project management when you are dealing with organizations, right? So my particular experience is I am on the IT environment all my life, more than 35 years in project management, and I had the opportunity to help organizations to get PMO implemented and running. And it was always challenging, as you said. So just to live from the very beginning and being able to see how in the future your dreams are converted into the reality. That is the ideal scenario for any project manager. Okay, thank you, Jeffrey. So I know your PMO has been evolving over the years and dealing with different obstacles, right? So the thing is just how were you involved in the PMO work in your organization?
Well, obstacles that we have had, I would say, Alfonso, the main obstacle has to do with organization culture. Okay, right from the get-go, actually getting buy-in from stakeholders and making sure that we demonstrate that we add value to the organization. That has been an important effort from our side. What we have done is implemented small changes over time and then show the results. Okay, so that has changed everybody's perception about the PMO, and now people even recommend the PMO to be in everything that's very crucial and important to the organization. So that's one of the main obstacles that I would say has been, and that by itself obviously has led to other challenges, which is, I mean, we are a centralized PMO, so the whole process of getting centralized all project management has been an important challenge for us. there were times where when people were saying, I can handle my projects by myself. I don't need a PMO. Okay, but we've proven over time that we can produce good results and improve the success of these projects. So I would say, Alfonso, that's the main obstacle. I don't know about yourself. Do you think that that's something that you have experienced?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had more than seven or eight experiences helping customers implementing PMO, and I exactly live similar experiences in terms of, every stakeholder, has different expectations in some cases, and they can see or they cannot see the value of the PMO, but it's really, rewarding just to see how when you are getting results, as you said, my particular experience was achieving smaller and smaller deliverables, in a very short time. Because I remember one of my experiences at HP, at Hewlett Packard, and the key point was getting, short time results in a very few weeks or in a very few months, in order to get convinced people that we were adding value to the PMO. So exactly the same, very similar things, I think. But it's really delightful, right? It's really delightful how to see how people are getting engaged and so on in the process. So your organization, I know, evolved from a non-project management mature organization to an enterprise PMO, right? Over the years. So there were several periods. I have observed in your presentation your achievements, great achievements and milestones. Do you have any particular comment regarding any important milestone that you achieved during this process? Something to mention that was really significant for you and difficult during the life cycle?
Yes, Alfonso. One of the main or most important milestones is all the lessons learned from our core banking systems project. So after that was I would say that was the trigger to actually make us understand that something had to change. Okay, and it was a very costly project in all senses. So that itself was the driver for change. Okay, that was one milestone that I would say is very important for us. Another one I would say has to do with the establishment of our methodology, putting it in black and white. Okay, and saying to the organization, this is the way we will manage projects. So there's a before and an after that milestone. It was very important, and from there on, training people, of course, made a whole difference. And one last milestone that I think that defines us at this moment is what happened last year when we were promoted to an enterprise PMO. So that's very important. From there on, we were actually assigned a task to be the team that guarantees the strategy execution for the following 5 years. So I would say those are the three most important milestones that we have in our journey.
Oh, that's great. That's great because it is exactly matches with part of my experience that lessons learned and retrospective analysis were key in all the cases that I have experienced in different customers worldwide. I mean, reflecting upon the successes and failures and trying to learn. I can remember that I usually use a sentence that is called, you could be my teacher. So I mean that you could learn from anyone around you, and it's an important thing. And also talking to methodologies is very, very important, right? How to see that when you are getting implemented a methodology in which people have been participating, people feel like it's their methodology. Okay, they really believe that they were part of that. So did you see the same experience with your people? I mean, in terms of interaction and participation when you elaborated the methodology?
Completely. I mean, when we started, there were just a couple of guys that had been trained and had in project management. So it was up to a couple of people to actually start writing the methodology, the custom-made methodology for Ficohsa. But this itself, when we started training on the methodology and also promoting our team to actually certify themselves as PMPs or CAPMs, this opened a new world for us because everyone started talking the same language, thinking in the same way in terms of project management. So from there on, something very, I would say, I don't know if I can say maybe magical in the sense that everyone started contributing to processes and tools and how we can make better the methodology, how can we improve our results. So that was very exciting. It is still, okay, we're still working. Our team is basically one of the main aspects of our success, to be honest.
Oh yeah, of course. I think it's so rewarding, right? It's a so
Totally,
rewarding thing.
completely,
Yeah.
completely.
Okay. Like, congratulations about that because it's not easy to engage people, and I'm sure that what I have seen in the video is that you were engaging people all the time, and it's one of the tips for success.
No,
Jeffrey.
and sorry, Alfonso.
Yeah.
What I can tell you something that the PMO has become a place where people they want to be in the PMO and they feel they can see from the outside. I like what these guys do. I like the energy that they have. So we have a lot of people knocking on our doors. Do you have a vacant there so we can apply? And it's very nice and it's very rewarding as you say.
Oh, yeah. I really understand you because you are talking about attitude, positive attitude. Correct me if I am wrong, but for me, positive attitude is very, very important. And one of my preferred sentences, is today is a good day, but tomorrow will be better, right? So the thing is just if you, as you said, are enjoying what you did, and if you are enjoying, the development and the methodology, and being ready to correct, and not feeling as a perfect human being or perfect professional, that's great. So yeah, thank you, Jeffrey, to share this type of your experience. So Jeffrey, one of my difficulties on PMO implementation was to sell the PMO need. Okay, so the PMO necessity in the organizations, because for instance, when I started up my first PMO at HP, one of the things that I faced was why do we need a PMO? Okay, and what will be the cost of the PMO, and what will be the benefits? Okay, any experience about that? Can you please share with us your thoughts or best practices about selling the idea and the need for the PMO internally in Ficohsa?
Yeah, the PMO in Banco Ficohsa has a long story. I mean, it started in 2005, and as you saw, for example, in the material, as part of our nomination package, um, it started as a PMO for the IT department. So what I can say right there that at that moment, I would say the PMO reported to the CIO. So the CIO had a lot of to do with actually making sure the PMO started and initiated. Okay, but
Okay.
there wasn't like a specific event where you can say we had to do a sales pitch to upper management about the PMO. So I can say it was an evolution. Okay, it was an evolution that right after our main milestone, which is the core banking system projects and the effect of that, we knew that we had to do something different. We knew that we had to establish credibility to gain acceptance. So we started very small. This was back then in 2014. We had only 5 FTEs, and we established that methodology. We did small changes, and we started evolving from there and showing results. So it was more like a show then tell. That was a little bit the approach of how. So the sale itself was actually fundamented in the results that we were getting. So what happened is that once the organization saw that we were initially we were talking about 18% of our projects on time. So that was very, very catastrophic. And once people saw, the organization saw that the project success ratio was incrementing, we were on a position to actually ask for more resources. We're at a point right now where we have 19 FTEs, and from being only an IT departmental PMO, we are now an enterprise PMO, and we are handling a portfolio of over 200 projects of 4 countries in which Banco Ficohsa operates. So that was a little bit the process, the selling process of it was more like doing and showing. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great because I think it's one of the best practices I always share in my speeches and consulting services is that you need to get results, and only showing results people will be believing in your speech, in what you are talking about. Thank you, Jeffrey, to share that. So this is an important thing. In order to sell the PMOs, PMO in the organization, I think you agree that you need to see the value, and it's exactly what you said, okay? Seeing the value, adding value to the organization, contributing to the benefits of the organization, and trying to maintain, the bottom line, and trying to be successful, to be efficient, to get results. Thank you, Jeffrey. You were very successful on the PMO implementation and running, as I can see. So could you please to tell us 3 key areas that helped you to achieve that success? Any 1, 2, or 3 areas that you really said, okay, well, it was a contribution success factor for the implementation of the PMO?
Alfonso, I would say that very critical for us, it's training on the methodology. So one thing is to actually establish the methodology for the organization. The other thing is to actually train the people and making sure that the methodology is being applied. So I think that's a very key area that we have emphasized, and I think it's very crucial for our success. Something else that it's very important for us is that we manage to tie compensation, executive compensation, to project performance. Okay, so we as a PMO, we are the information provider or single source of truth of project performance, and that goes directly to executives' balance scorecard. So I think that's very crucial. So that, I mean, when you tie compensation to, you have those kind of incentives, of course, everyone's going to move in that direction. And also, I think since we are a centralized PMO, getting the setup to actually centralize all projects in the PMO, I think that's very important for us and has been key. Okay, so that's the main portfolio. If you want to see how many projects Banco Ficohsa is at this moment executing, you have to come to us. We know the portfolio status, we know the different statuses of the projects. And I would say one last one that has taken a lot of importance now that we are an enterprise PMO is change management. Change management, before we were an enterprise PMO, I would say that we were not so active on change management, but we have taken a turn for the positive in that sense. So we have developed programs for recognizing from project manager of the year, project of the year, sponsor of the year, and every single time that a project gets executed and closed successfully, we do a celebration, and we give recognition certificates to everyone on the team that participated. Nowadays, even during COVID-19, these sessions are still ongoing and being handled by Zoom, and people get the digital certificate and they post them in their social networks. So they're very proud, and I think that has been very positive for us in terms of promoting a project management culture.
Oh, great comments, and great experience. Congratulations about that, because you are one of the organizations I have seen that they are giving enough importance to executives' involvement, right? So you have been talking about the sponsorship. So there are not many organizations worldwide in multinational firms or the financial firms who gives the real importance to the sponsor, and also who are able to train them and explaining to them why do we need them, right? In terms of being able to understand why the executive needs to participate, and this is absolutely crucial. I lived the same experience at HP, Hewlett Packard, big company. The level of sponsorship was getting improved over the years, and I started at a program on sponsorship training too. It was really successful, but I had a lot of difficulties at the beginning because the management team was not aware about the need, and I needed to sell the need first and so on. So congratulations about that. This was exactly my next question. So the thing is that you were counting on executive support during this cycle, and now I understand why your evolution and why you have progressed in that way. Okay, do you agree? So do you feel comfortable with dealing with executives, right?
Totally, Alfonso. I think that I would say that's the main ingredient of everything that has happened to us. Without executive sponsorship, we couldn't be here. We couldn't be. We wouldn't have been promoted as an enterprise PMO right from the start. Even when it was departmental PMO, a lot of vision from the CIO to establish a PMO back in 2005, and afterwards, as we moved along in our journey. And we started reporting to COO. COO has been crucial for us in terms of his support and his
Excuse me.
In terms of his sponsorship and his support, and he's our link to the board of directors, and he's able to actually show our results to the board of directors. So definitely the most important aspect in our journey is executive sponsorship.
Yeah, I think when I have seen your evolution from a small PMO or initiative, the initiative and becoming an enterprise PMO, I can understand that this type of effort was worth it, right? Because I think you feel good in terms of okay, well, all the effort that we were doing before has been serving for something in the future, right? So it is another indicator that allow me, I can comment you is. Now during the pandemic, you are still, as you said, using your PMO and your services. So the thing is that you mentioned change, and the change is, correct me if I am wrong, definitive to be dealt during the PMO implementation because business is changing, okay? The society is changing, and people are changing, right? So if you are creating a project management office who is able to embrace all those things together, you were successful. Okay, you will be successful, and you are successful. So thank you about that. So
thank you.
yeah,
Just would like to compliment on that, Alfonso. Definitely, I totally agree with you. We need to adapt, and if we don't adapt to change, then we disappear. One of our and something that we or part of our philosophy, I would say, the purpose that we have in our PMO is it's broad enough to actually allow us to change. Our purpose is to create the conditions to make things happen. So whether it is using waterfall methodology, hybrid, or agile, whatever it takes, we need to adjust ourselves to make things happen and make sure that strategy execution takes place.
Yeah, that means giving to your executives the reasons to maintain your PMO, right? Because your PMO is alive just because not only because your effort, but the effort of executives selling internally that the need of the PMO is adding value, continuous value over the time, right?
Exactly, and there's no better example that what has happened during COVID-19. COVID-19 worldwide has actually taken down some paradigms in all aspects, and as well for the PMO in project management itself. You used to think that you had to, for some particular projects, have teams physically in one place, and we've demonstrated that, and actually COVID-19 has forced us to actually do everything virtually and remotely. And even during this pandemic, we've managed to maintain 80% of our projects still active.
Great. Congratulations about that again. Jeffrey, if you had to explain the major difficulties you have experienced during your PMO implementation, something significant, what will you mention? what type of things will be mentioning as an obstacles to be overcome?
I would say, Alfonso, that here in Honduras, there's a limited hiring pool for resources. So we've had to focus on actually onboarding people to our staff that have the right soft skills, that they have critical thinking, that are innovative thinking, creative thinkers, and from there on, train them internally. Okay, and we promote certification of our staff up to the point that 42% of our staff at this moment is certified in as a PMP or CIPM, and we're planning by year's end to have 100% of our staff certified. I mean, getting to that point, 100% of our staff certified would mean that close to a quarter of all certified professionals in the country are in Ficohsa. So that's going to be a big achievement if we get to that point by year's end. And also, I would say that another challenge that we've had during the PMO implementation is actually getting the different areas or departments to dedicate resources 100% to projects. So this is still a challenge. We tackle it with it every single day with every project, and there are still some cases where you have resources that they're doing their daily activities, their business as usual, along with project activities. So that's one of the main challenges that we have had. And again, as I mentioned before, actually demonstrating that methodology does not equal bureaucracy. Okay, so that people are going to think, why are you doing all this, all of these processes, and when we can start working right away? So there's a lot of from our side convincing people and telling them, you know what, if we do this, we're going to avoid rework. We're going to be able to actually react better to risks that come along the way. And it has been an important challenge, but we are every single day, and I think it's not going to disappear, but people come in and out of the organization every day. So it's an ongoing process. So we are constantly evangelizing people on the way that projects need to happen.
Yeah, that's incredible, because I think that in my particular experience was exactly the same, just to get people engaged about using a methodology. And in fact, I think I always say that before the methodology, there is your discipline as an individual and as a professional, right? So the thing is that all the professionals that are joining PMO, getting educated is a real challenge. So I have seen that you got it. So again, thank you for, welcome to the club of people who really believes on PMO is adding value. And in your presentation, Jeffrey, thank you. In your presentation, you mentioned several best practices along the years. So I understood that some of them were common for several, PMO stages or phases. And particularly, did you find any special best practice that you want to mention? Because, for instance, one of the best practices I found was the Agile mindset, right? So we know that we are moving to Agile and more. And also, getting people understanding that not everything can be Agile, but you need to move and to align, the type of methodology with the type of needs and the type of requirements for your customers is a challenge. Any experience about that? Any particular comment on that? In terms of
yes. In terms of Agile, I would say that it's something that we need to master. Okay, and it's like being agile is like saying I want to be fit. Okay, so I'll have to do a lot of things to be fit. Okay, so in terms of Agile, we are working with everyone. Obviously, COVID-19 has helped us a lot. Okay, so we are introducing concepts like minimum viable products, let's do a pilot and get feedback and see how it goes. Let's talk about iterations. Let's talk about Kanban boards. So that's something that we are still working on. We definitely think that going into the future, we need to master that. But it's something that starts right here. It's not a thing about actually putting some new tools. These are the new agile tools that we were going to be using. It's starting with everyone understanding that we need to think agile. We need to be agile. So that's the way that we see the agile.
Yeah, yeah. And any thoughts regarding your executives? Because usually, in my particular experience, there are some organizations that they say, no, 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 we need to become agile, fully agile. Doesn't matter about the project or whatever. Or in the opposite, on the other hand, people that say, no, 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 we started waterfall. We need to continue waterfall. I mean, being agile in terms of mindset from the executives, for me, is absolutely crucial. Do you?
I totally agree with you, Alfonso. Fortunately, in our organization is very open to changes, but at the same time, we understand it's a process. So our executive sponsor understands it's also a process. So we are as the same way that we evolved to become an EPMO. We are using the same approach, introducing small changes. Okay, let's do this project and introduce these agile aspects, and from there on we expect to then reach a point where we can say, you know what, we've been doing all of these projects agile and you didn't even knew, but these are the results.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for your answer. And I really enjoyed your conversation because, it's great when a professional is seen and, validating that your particular experience, is not only for you, but it is also worldwide of another sites from another professional. This is a great, a great insight, right? Yeah, it's something like getting recognized your behavior, something like that. So thank you about that.
No,
And
sorry, Alfonso, just to comment on that. And I think this whole experience, this whole PMO Global Award experience has been just that. I mean, actually getting recognition from professionals like you that you are doing some things right. Okay, you are moving in the right direction. So that's has been very rewarding for us.
thanks, thank you. Jeffrey, let's talk about people because, people is, I would say the main asset, for organizations, trying to get, the buy-in from people, not only the buy-in from executives, but also the buy-in from your team members. And I know you put an emphasis on PMO people training and development. I think was this training developed internally or externally? What was the idea? I mean, was the PMO lead who was proposing to develop a career path or a training development career path, or how did you do?
We started with obviously getting some training from outside parties of the organization, and once we did a couple of those, and once we felt that we were experts in the matter, we decided to design some internal training programs. Okay. And those internal programs, obviously, they have to consider our methodology as well as other aspects of project management, everything that has to do with the theory, let's say, about project management. So we've designed that internally and also made it available to people outside the PMO staff. So the training program works for both inside the PMO and outside people from the PMO. When we're talking about career paths for our people, our PMO staff, we have several levels. We have a junior project manager, senior project manager, and we have the program manager. And of course, the PMO staff moves along that career depending on their experiences, their number of certifications, and of course their performance. And so that's very important for us. That people, I would say, one of the most the crucial ingredient of actually making this little engine work.
Okay, I see. I see. So people felt comfortable about that, right?
Yeah, and you know what? We are very resourceful in terms of training. Nowadays, there's a lot of material online, and we do those kind of things. We get together and we see a webinar, or we see some TED talks, for example, and then we make sure that as a team we discuss our learnings. What did we learn from everything that we saw, from what we studied
Mm-hmm.
in the last week, for example? What can we
Mm-hmm.
apply to our PMO? So this whole let's say mindset of continuous learning is something that we work very hard to make sure that everyone in our team has that chip inside his or her head.
Okay. Thank you, Jeffrey. Did you do a similar thing with the training of executives? I mean, sponsorship training. I mean, did you
Yeah.
deliver sponsorship training internally, or how it happens?
We've done some very specific training for them on different occasions. For example, right when we were going to start the execution of the transformation strategy, we did some workshops with them to make them understand why their role is important for the execution of projects, and why projects were an important aspect in the strategy execution. I believe, Alfonso, that now that you mentioned it, we still have an opportunity to develop a program, an ongoing program, to make sure that these
Mm-hmm.
things are always refreshed in their minds.
Okay, very, very important. I think, training executives is not only a question, in my mind, a question of start the training and getting trained, but also you need to remind them. You need to be a reminder all the time in terms of, remember those are your obligations, but you need to follow up and, those rules. And if you need it, ask me. And I think the PMO has a very, very important role, play an important role in that. So congratulations again about that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
writing that. I'm writing that one down in order to implement as soon as possible. Thank you.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So another important thing that I have seen in all your PMO life cycle is innovation. So I really believe that it's a critical point to sustain a PMO alive, right? Because one of the reasons I have seen in my experience is that some PMOs are not able to survive just because they are not aligned with the customer needs, with the stakeholder needs, with the organizational needs, and so on. So, can you give us some clues about the key points in innovation for your PMO?
Yes, yes, surely, Alfonso. We do innovation in many ways. Let me tell you about it. Um, Innovation by itself can be of different types. One type that we do is process innovation. Okay, so actually
Yep.
being able to have a process that works in a specific way, and then give it a 360 turn in order to for the better. That's something that we did over time in terms of project management, and through our methodology. Okay, so I would say that's very important. We have also introduced um, technology in order to automatize some of our dashboards, some of our status reports. So that's has been very important for us in terms of internal innovation for our area. So for our PMO, we've also, in terms of innovation, we can say that we practice incremental innovation. We are continuously improving ourselves, and we are our most tough critic. Okay, so that makes us continuously, you know what, let's change this, let's tweak this, let's fine tune this other thing, this is not working. And we are in that constant cycle every time. Okay, and the other
Okay.
thing, Alfonso, that I think that is very important is our mindset. We as a team, we know that we have to challenge the status quo. Okay, so our
Yeah.
team is exposed to different ideas, different areas, and they are creative thinkers and they are idea generators. So this has been very important for us.
Yeah, I think one of the key points, as you said, for in terms of innovation, is being able to be adapted and to adopt, the new changes and the new needs or necessities from your market. Because finally, we cannot forget that we have our PMO customers will be affected by that, right? So the thing is just getting aligned and being able to adapt and adopt new things are absolutely critical. So you are, as you said, and I have seen, you are maintaining your status quo and you are progressively elaborating new things. So this is the important point. So
Yeah,
well,
well,
Jeffrey.
Alfonso, sorry, just want to mention something else. During COVID-19, we actually started a think tank committee. Okay, so once COVID-19 hit us, we started like getting together different people from different areas, a multidisciplinary team, in order to actually put their business challenges and have some ideas being proposed right there. Okay, so that has given us another important aspect in terms of actually fostering innovation in our organization.
I understand. Okay, so Jeffrey, any other thing that you need to or you want to comment to share with us in terms of your PMO and your vision? Because one of the things is, what is your vision for the future in terms of from now during these pandemic times and so on, in terms of vision in your future? What do you see in your PMO? What type of PMO can you see in 1 or 2 years from now? Do you have any idea or suggestion?
Yeah, what I have seen and what I think is the future for our PMO is that um, become more like a transformation office. Okay, so less tracking projects and being more actually proactive in terms of driving change, okay, in the organization and making sure that we are our full potential to actually execute strategy. That's a little bit where I see our PMO shifting. Of course, agile is something that we intend to actually master. Okay, so that's something that's also in our to-do list for the future. And one last thing, I would say that since at this moment our scope is bank in 4 countries, we still have to get to some other companies of the financial group, like the insurance company and the pensions company. So I would say those 3 aspects are what I see in our near future.
Okay. My last question is that you said that more and more you are getting the buy-in from your executives, and your executives really believe in the PMO is adding value. What is the frequent contribution from executives to the PMO? Do you have any monthly meetings or frequent meetings with executives in terms of not only to present your dashboard and your report and status of the PMO service delivery, but also in terms of future or in terms of indicator or something?
Oh, we have engaged executives. Nowadays, now that we are the enterprise PMO, of course, as you mentioned, we have those instances where we present dashboards and how's the status, and we even do that to the board of directors. Okay, so board of
Okay.
directors is on top of how the strategy is being executed. So we get a space in every single board of directors meeting to actually comment and actually report status on how we're doing.
Okay. Good. So, well, thank you. I only need to say that it was really amazing just to listen your stories, your real stories about your organization, and it's really good to see how organizations are evolving through the PMO, because I was one of my um, areas of expertise, or I didn't say expertise, one of my area of best practices, and and work has been implementing PMOs and helping organizations to progress from non-project management oriented to project oriented organizations. So congratulations, first of all, my best wishes for your potential award, global award, and thank you for your time and your professionalism. And I really love to listen to the words that you have pronounced. Congratulations and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Alfonso. Thank you for your time. It was a very rewarding experience to have this call with you, and I'm very glad that we could have this time.
Thank you so much. Bye now.
Bye, Alfonso. Take care.